1 month after people. Now that the world's leaders are gone, new forces are looking to seize power. Just outside of Paris, France, the Palace of Versailles, with its spectacular gardens, sits untended. This is one of the most opulent homes built by any leader in history. The palace is 500,000 square feet, 10 times larger than the White House. Its construction in the late 1600s nearly bankrupted the nation. And it was here that the angry mobs of the French Revolution captured Marie Antoinette and her husband, King Louis XVI, taking them away to Paris and eventually the guillotine, overthrowing the French monarchy. In 1919, Versailles was one of the few places that could accommodate the hundreds of dignitaries that had descended on France to negotiate the treaty ending World War I. The peace agreement that would become known as the Treaty of Versailles was signed here in the palace's famous Hall of Mirrors. At more than 235 feet, the hall is longer than a 747, and it's lined along one wall with 367 mirrors. Most originally installed in 1684, each mirror contains a deadly ingredient: mercury. Every 10 square feet of mirror required more than 100 pounds of the toxic liquid metal. Inhalation of mercury vapors can cause inflammation of the lungs and respiratory failure, and in fact, actually killed some of the craftsmen who made the mirrors. Now, could this centuries-old poison determine the fate of the historic hall in A Life After People? Snow and rain have bestowed a different fate upon the great Palace of Versailles. The once famous gardens are now consumed by forest. Inside the palace, Louis XIV's Great Hall is the mirror image of devastation. The famous gardens have worked their way indoors.
The Hall of Mirrors has so many little nooks and crannies. These nooks and crannies naturally catch the soil and create mold and dust and seeds from the gardens below.
The chandeliers and much of the roof fell long ago, and the 8,000 square feet of mirrors are in dire straits.
The roof of the Hall of Mirrors, as it fails, would leak quite a bit, and water would cascade down the walls that actually hold the mirrors in place. Water would be both behind the glass and in front of the glass.
But the mercury in the mirrors has actually prevented mold and fungus from colonizing them, keeping the antique glass from deteriorating and falling out of its framing. But now, water is steadily rotting the oak supports that hold the mirrors to the walls. And one by one, the glass that once reflected the faces of world leaders as they ended the war to end all wars submits to a final surrender itself.